Everybody, happy Saturday. I have an exciting guest coming on, Dr. Joanna Wickzovic, and we're talking about polyphenols and the fast mimicking diet. So I'm gonna let you guys start coming on. Big show today. Bring all of your questions. Hi for craft's sake. Let me see if I can get her to come on here. There we go. So exciting today. It is all about polyphenols and anti-aging. We have a special guest, Dr. Joanna, I hope I don't butcher this name, Wickzovic. So yes. Hi, Joanna.
Hello.
How are you?
Hello.
I'm just going to call you Dr. Joanna.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here.
I'm really happy that you invited me. I'm really grateful. Thank you.
Of course. Okay. Before we get into this, am I pronouncing your name right, Dr. Joanna Wickzovic?
I think Joanna is fine. My surname is difficult, so Joanna is absolutely perfect.
Okay, amazing. Well, today we are talking all about polyphenols and anti-aging. Before I get into your story and your passion, I know that I have people that are on there going, what the heck are polyphenols and how are they keeping us youthful? So take it from there.
All right, so straight into polyphenols. Fabulous.
Well, tell us a little bit about, you could tell us how you got into it, but I think just the definition of polyphenols, because when I think of polyphenols, I always think of, like, you know, those compounds in foods that give us, that kind of reverse aging a little bit. They kind of turn the clocks back. And we hear about this a lot in red wine and in dark chocolates and in green tea. And, you know, for those of you who follow me, let me introduce myself before you but I drink 32 ounces of green tea, matcha green tea, every single morning. So I am full of polyphenols. And I just figured there's a lot of people that don't even know what this is. So tell us a little bit about you, how you got into this field, and what the heck are polyphenols?
Thank you for this question, because as you know, I am a medical doctor and I have more than 30 years of experience in oncology imaging. So obviously the cancer prevention was always my focus. And many years ago, I found out about the knowledge and science about polyphenols as a compounds which actually can act as an anti-cancer strategy. So that's why I was fascinated about the polyphenols for many years as a cancer specialist. So turns out that those are little natural plant compounds, and the plant, they produce those little molecules as a defense strategy. So the plant needs to defend themselves from the environmental stressors like UV radiation, and they produce those little compounds to protect themselves. However, those polyphenols in the plant can actually act as something beneficial for our human health, and that is amazing, is it not? So those polyphenols are defense mechanisms for plants, but also beneficial, some of them, not all of them, but some of them are beneficial for our health and can act as a cancer prevention strategy.
So I have one question before we go on, and you guys, your questions are always welcome. I'm looking in the chat, and we have people from all over the world that are joining here, from Nigeria and UK and everywhere. So bring your questions, you guys, and I'll be scrolling to make sure that Dr. Joanna gets to all of your questions. But my first question is, because different plants, polyphenols are not in animals, but different plants create various levels of polyphenols. And as you said, it is a defense mechanism for the plant to protect itself from UV radiation, from environmental stressors, from all of that. If the plant is going through more hardships, and I also want to ask the question of which plants have more polyphenols than others, and are those plants that have higher levels of polyphenols, do they have a little bit more of a struggle in life, and that's why they're creating them?
You're straight to the point, because obviously the wild plants, they've got more stressors, and the plants which they grow in the different environment, like a dry or too hot, they defend even more. Defenses mechanisms are stronger. However, talking about polyphenols, there are so many, at least 8,000 we know, but I'm guessing it's more than 8,000. So there are different kinds of it's a big family, different kind of polyphenols, and there are different action in our body. So that's a massive subject I could talk about for hours, but that's not the point. But what I found out that polyphenols, they act as a cancer prevention, and they act as an anti-aging as well.
Tell me a little bit about that. How does that work? How do polyphenols work to keep us more youthful, or, like I like to say, kind of turn the clock back a little bit? How do they work?
There are two different ways we need to look into polyphenols. So first, if we eat the plant with the polyphenol, most of the polyphenols are actually used by our microbiome. So beneficial bacteria in our gut. This is they enjoy polyphenols. So very little goes actually into our cells. Most of them are taken by microbiome. However, there is a benefit of this, that they eat those polyphenols, because then they produce something which are called short-chain fatty acids. You probably heard.
Yes,
and this is very beneficial for us,
right,
for humans, because our immune system is improved, inflammation reduced. So those short-chain fatty acids produced by our microbiome is very beneficial.
We have a question that's saying, what do you think about omega-3s?
I may talk about omega-3 a little bit later. It's anti-inflammatory and have nothing to do with polyphenols.
Yeah. Okay, but it is anti-inflammatory. I think that's where the connection was.
There is a connection. If you use polyphenols and omega-3 supplementation, you reduce your inflammation in your body. So there is connection,
yeah,
obviously. But talking about polyphenols, so first little bit of polyphenols is that this is a good food for our microbiome, but a little bit which goes with the blood into our cells is just fantastic, because this goes into our cell and can have work for different declining mechanism in our cells. Like you know, with age, different processes inside the cell are declining the function, like a mitochondrial dysfunction, DNA repair, everything is slowing down or declining. So those polyphenols, they can repair those declining processes within the cell. So that is amazing. That is amazing. Like there is a polyphenol called quercetin, the one which is mainly in the red onion. Or you can take a supplement, and this polyphenol quercetin can stimulate repair, DNA repair, activating sirtuin-6. So that's complicated, but it's important to remember that those little polyphenols, they are healing our intracellular processes. So that is amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It is amazing. Anything that's anti-cancer is basically longevity, right?
Exactly.
I mean, there's such a connection with cancer and that disruption of the DNA replication and the telomeres and all of that stuff that can go wrong when you're replicating DNA over and over and over again. Yeah, really fascinating stuff. I have a question from Rina Angela. Which supplements contain polyphenol, and are there any side effects? It's a good question.
To be honest with you, there is enough polyphenols in the food we eat. It's like somebody saying, and you drinking the matcha tea, amazing, because it contains this EGCG, epigallocatechin gallate, and that is outstanding. So well
So
done for
I'm
drinking
doing good
green
by my
tea.
32 ounces of matcha. Actually,
Yeah.
I moved it up, Dr. Joanna. This is now 40 ounces. So every morning I put 2 matcha tea bags in here and I drink 40 ounces of green.
Amazing, amazing. That's what we all should do. You are
Oh my God.
perfectionist.
Well, here's the thing. I know that you said that we get plenty of polyphenols in the food that we eat. And listen, I'm 56 years old. I'm a gerontologist. I'm a healthy aging coach. This is what I do. I help people look better, feel better, function better, for the whole lifespan. But there's a lot of people out there that they're living off of highly processed foods. They're not getting all of the polyphenols that they need. What are there any supplements out there? Because I want to go back to that question. And I know people are always looking for a quick fix. And listen, if somebody told me it will cost me, $1 million to live forever and never have wrinkles, I'll drink that potion. I'm one of the, I want to see what's out there. But there are people that in their everyday life, it's difficult for them, either from culture, from the way that they brought up, from their current microbiome. It's difficult for them to consume foods that are rich in polyphenols. Is there a shortcut to this? That's my first question. If you guys aren't going to ask the questions, I got a lot. That's my first question. Is there a shortcut? Is there a supplement that somebody can take? And then the second question, if not, can you list some of those foods that are super high in polyphenols, exclusive of red wine? Because that to me is not, it gives and takes, right? Because if you can stop at 1 glass of red wine, it's great for you. I was never somebody that could stop at 1 glass of red wine.
Very good news for everybody, because dark chocolate is amazing. It's a powerful, this is a power bomb of polyphenols. So
and dark chocolate
but
doesn't mean just
with the low sugar content, like 85% dark chocolate or 90% dark chocolate. So that's a very simple strategy: to few pieces of dark chocolate with your black coffee, and you are nearly done for a day.
Okay.
So
wait, let's go over that again. For you coffee drinkers out there, if you had a couple of squares of dark chocolate, 85 to 90% dark chocolate with black coffee, you have
a little bit of black coffee.
What's that? Say that again.
A little bit of black coffee in the morning, obviously.
Yeah.
Sleep is important. If we drink coffee later on during the day, it's not the best because it will affect our sleep. But black coffee in the morning, few little bits of dark chocolate, and I think the amount of polyphenols is very high.
Okay, so if you're somebody that you can't get down 40 ounces of green tea, if you're somebody that can't do that, or you don't consume as many vegetables, that is a way to do that. Dark chocolate, and we're not talking about dark chocolate covered M&Ms, you guys. Just pure, organic, little squares of dark chocolate, 85 to 90% dark chocolate. Okay, are there anything else besides dark chocolate, black coffee, green tea? Can you list a few others that people will be able to get through their normal consumption of food?
Any kind of tea contains lots of catechins, so even black tea does not need to be green tea. Even black tea and green tea, it's really powerful strategies. Dark chocolate, well, I know that it's really difficult to implement all the polyphenols every day. I didn't want to talk about this, to be honest, but there is one supplement I've discovered quite a few months ago, and it's been designed by cellular biologist, scientists, really fantastic UK-based scientist, Nicola Conlon. Maybe you've heard about her, Dr. Nicola Conlon. And she came up with the supplement which contains 8 different ingredients, mostly polyphenols, and it's powerfully anti-aging NAD booster. I may show you.
See, we weren't even supposed to talk about this subject, but I know
I really
I know my
didn't want to talk, but you asked me about, so it's Nutrido Time Plus, and it's just fantastic. So
amazing.
if anybody interested,
Okay,
it's
you guys, I'm gonna try to see if I can get a hold of that other doctor. And Dr. Joanna, we'll talk after this. I want to see if I can get the doctor who made that supplement on the show, because that would be an awesome thing as well.
She's amazing, and this supplement is absolutely based on research, science. I think it's the best. All the polyphenols you need is in this supplement, so 8 different ones. So
8 different
fantastic.
Where, doctor, real quick, what are the sources? Because Penelope just asked, what if you're sensitive to caffeine? What other foods are good? What are the sources of polyphenol that particular doctor decided to put in that supplement? Because that could be also a really good place, Penelope, for you to get polyphenols through your foods. Listen, I have a whole supplement line. For those of you who don't know that, I've got a whole healthy aging supplement line, but I always coach my one-on-one clients. If you can get it through food, you're way better off, because the polyphenols, even in that supplement, you're missing the whole digestion of fiber and things that also help the whole microbiome and everything to move the way that it's supposed to. And I often think that fiber is so underrated. If we can just increase the amount of fiber that we're getting, and fiber only comes in vegetables. Fiber is the supportive structure of vegetables. It's not in plants. Collagen is the supportive structure in plants. But just by increasing our fiber, if we concentrated on that, which is all the colors of the rainbow, your polyphenol count is going to go way up.
I agree with you 100%. That's why I was quite resistant to show this supplement, and I started to talk about a natural food, because I am a I am into food, the whole food, instead of supplements. So if you have no time for cooking, you can't really stick to healthy diet sometimes, taking the supplement is okay. But I agree with you, the unprocessed whole foods are the best.
And what unprocessed whole foods is, you guys, just because in the American diet, we are so bombarded with what we call food that's really not food. Whole foods is one ingredient, broccoli, tomato, a banana. It's like, it's one ingredient. That is a whole food. It doesn't come in a box or a bag. Okay, so how does this have to do with, because I want to talk about your fasting as an anti-aging tool. And I've been doing intermittent fasting for 30 plus years. At 56, I started intermittent fasting in my mid-20s. And I don't eat. I do a 16-hour fast every single day. But how is that? Is that what you are talking about when you're doing your fasting? Ooh, sorry. I'm at my daughter's house, so the dog just started barking at something. But is that what? Tell me about how you're prolonged fasting and fasting as an anti-aging tool.
Right, so what we can say that fasting, it's not only very powerful anti-aging, anti-cancer and strategy, it's also first, it's very easy to perform, in the sense, if you fast, you don't need to do food shopping, cooking, then cleaning the kitchen, so you've got plenty of time for yourself, right? It's for everybody, for vegans, vegetarians, pescatarians, anybody, any diet can fit into fasting. You just don't eat. And it's cheap, because you don't need to spend money. So how fantastic is this? And I think that the benefits from fasting is number one of all the strategies into anti-aging.
I absolutely agree. If I were to say, like, what is the number one thing surrounding longevity? It is food and the lack thereof.
Exactly.
So it's food. What are you getting through your food? How are you making all the colors of the rainbow? How are you eating a polyphenol rich diet? Which that's exactly that's why I had you on this show, is because what you are preaching and what you're writing about is what I have been living for 30 plus years, because I started down this health journey in my 20s and I'm 56. So I was reading what you were doing. I'm like, well, this is like literally life for me. It's just like my life. So that has always been kind of what I have coached my clients to, is you can get a lot of stuff through food. I also am a supplement queen because I do have my own supplement line, but food or supplements, things like that, or the lack thereof, because that's what allows our body, just like those vegetables, those plants, just like those plants that were struggling in order to survive the UV rays, in order to survive the drought, in order to survive being overwatered or whatever it is. That's what increases the polyphenols. When we put our bodies in a little bit of strategic stress by depriving ourselves of food, our bodies work super hard to get our metabolism working, to reach into those fat cells for energy. It's so good for us, fasting, in terms of longevity. And yet it's one of the things that people find the hardest to do. I don't understand it. To me, it's super easy but I don't do long fasts. I do 16-hour fasts. So it's like I miss breakfast. I eat food around 1:30 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And then and then I have my dinner in a 16-hour fast. How are you fasting differently than I am?
No, I do this kind of no eating, time restricted eating, I would say, because I don't think it's really fasting. If you don't eat like 14 hours, this is what I practice, 14, 16 hours. It is extended period of not eating, but it's not actually fasting.
Okay.
I'm saying this because many years ago, I found this fantastic scientist. It's Professor Walter Longo. I think many people, they know that his research, his science. I think he's number one in the space of anti-aging.
It is so
longevity science.
Dr. Joanna, it is so bizarre that you are saying this to me right now. This is why I had you on the show. This was one of my professors at USC recently, Dr. Walter Longo. He does the fast mimicking diet. He created this thing called the Prolon fast, which you still are eating, but you're eating about 500 to 800 calories a day. If anybody is interested, anybody listening to this who's interested in this, who doesn't think that you can do a long fast like that, but wants to do a fast mimicking diet, sorry, just because I know Dr. Walter Longo, he's the head of the Longevity Center at USC. Brilliant man.
So I respect him so much.
He's not the warmest of personalities, but a brilliant professor, and really the top of the field in longevity. And so if anybody is listening to this is interested in the Prolon fast mimicking diet, just DM me separately. I'll give you a link to that. It's a 5-day fast that every day is between 500 and 800 calories. And although you're consuming foods, it's in a strategic way where your body feels like it's fasting. It's behaving as if it's not getting any food. Is that correct? Is that your conclusion as well, Dr.?
100%. So I know that if somebody is busy and want this prolonged fasting meals, which are really easy, and you just follow those what's inside 5 boxes for the 5 days, it's perfect. But I've created the version of this prolonged fasting based on polyphenol vegetable soups, extra virgin olive oils, or olives, nuts. So this is my version, a homemade version of this for Professor Walter Longo fasting mimicking diet because I'm such a fan of the real food and real vegetables and real polyphenols that I was thinking, looking into what he sort of like researched and proved it's working, I calculated this into my vegetable soups.
I
So this
love that.
my ebook provides you through 5 days with the meal plans. It's mainly vegetable soups and salads with the nuts, olives, and extra virgin olive oil, because we've forgotten to tell about extra virgin olive oil.
Yeah.
It contains at least 20 of amazing polyphenols, and they work fantastic as anti-aging tool as well. So
Amazing.
it's important.
I normally have like a thing of olive oil that I drizzle on, like, because my lunch only consists of vegetables. So I break my fast around 1:30 with a mushroom coffee, and then I eat as many vegetables as I possibly can consume. And when I mean many, I don't mean like 2 pounds of broccoli. I mean, I'll do it in a stir fry or in a soup that has at least 5 to 10 different kinds of plants in there. And that's what I consume, or grains and quinoa, all of that stuff. Any plant-based stuff that I can consume that has a vast variety, so that I've got all of the colors of the rainbow. And then I'm more lenient at dinner, but that's basically what I do. So I normally have like a thing of olive oil that I'll drizzle practically on almost everything because it's so good for you.
So you know and practice everything. So that's why you look so fantastic.
Well, the important thing is my body is functioning. Like at 56, I feel like my body, my metabolism is functioning like it did when I was in my 20s. I'm still basically and I've given birth to 3 kids, by about 5 pounds, I'm about the same weight as I was before I had children. And that has to do with fasting. It has to do with being predominantly plant-based, with eating whole foods. Yes, I do supplements, I do all of that stuff, but I eat so many whole foods in terms of plants that I get in before lunch. But the extra virgin olive oil, for the person who asked what other foods are rich in polyphenols, that's something that's really easy to add on if you've got your olive oil, organic olive oil, in like a little thing that you can pour. We have a question from Danny Linky. I butchered that, sorry. What about protein in this fasting diet? What is your focus on protein?
This is a brilliant question, because it gets me straight to. It's a great question, so thank you, Danny. Because what's really important in this fasting mimicking diet, based on Professor Walter Longo research, that this diet is low protein. Because if we have no protein or very little protein, it triggers our body into fasting, including the autophagy. This is a Nobel Prize research.
Nobel Prize
2000, yeah. Autophagy. What is autophagy? When our cells sense low protein or no protein, they need to reuse the protein already there, but they start from those damaged, toxic protein conglomerates, so they are doing cleaning of the intracellular junk.
Yep.
So all the damaged organelles, like damaged mitochondria, it's called mitophagy, all the toxic protein conglomerates we really don't want, don't need, they are actually clearing out. So it's a cleaning process in our body, this autophagy. And it's essentially, without autophagy, we will be aging and we will having lots of diseases. So we really desperately need to have some periods of time with no protein or low protein. And this is fasting mimicking diet essentially
Yeah.
low calories and low protein.
Yeah, it's interesting that you say that because I did a whole Instagram live, doctor, on the diet fads. And I really do feel, just based on the research. Now, you guys, this is not, you can't like base your research on what Google's going to show you. You can't base your research on how many people are talking about it on Instagram, because the number of people that are talking about it on Instagram are oftentimes perpetuating false information. And so when I see these health coaches that are saying, if you want to lose weight, eat 1 gram to 2 grams of protein per pound, or in the pounds, sorry, but I don't know in kilograms, but per pound of body weight. And I look at the research and I look at Dr. Walter Longo's research and I think that is absolutely ludicrous. That is not the way for our body to utilize the junkyard of protein. So I always think of it like, think of like a car junkyard where you've just got all of these cars that aren't really working. They're just collecting. It's a disaster. When you need those parts though, your body, if it doesn't have protein, can go in there and pick apart like a spare parts of a car, all the stuff that it needs and gets rid of the rest. And it's impossible to do that if you're on a high protein diet. And if you're following a lot of the health coaches that are trying to get people to lose weight by increasing protein. I'm going to tell you right now, and I don't mean you, doctor, because of course you knew this, but I'm going to tell my listeners right now, the reason why this is happening is because they're crowding out the other crap that they're eating. It's not because eating protein makes you lose weight. It's because if you are concentrating on adding extra, I got to get in my protein, I got to get in my protein, you're not going to sit down with a bag of Doritos because there's not a lot of protein in that. And you're going to crowd out in your stomach, you're crowding out that junk. That's why people lose weight when they add protein in. It is not a sustainable way in terms of longevity. What do you feel about that? That's my own theory based on the research.
So if we're talking about fasting, anti-aging, anti-cancer strategies, we need to see this research, Professor Walter Longo research, that no protein, low protein triggers the body into autophagy and cleaning and regeneration. However, I am a big believer that we should be feasting and fasting, that we should do the cycles. So I do believe that after fasting we should have a proper nutrition, and if we over 50, body composition and muscle mass is important. So I do high protein diet. However, I think that I need times that I need to fast without protein or low protein.
Yeah.
So cycling, in my opinion, cycles of higher protein, lower protein, then supplements should be also on and off, not continuously. We need to make our body to guess what's next is coming, because that's how we achieve good health. Because adaptation mechanism, it's very easy to achieve resistance to any tool. So that's why we need to keep our body guessing. What's next?
Yeah.
High protein, low protein, fasting or feasting, supplements on and off. I do believe in this cycling.
I love that.
But in the very healthy way, cycling of different tools.
Yeah.
Changing them.
And it's like that plant trying to grow, and how that guessing of like, am I protecting myself from the sun? Is there a drought? It's in that is where all the magic in, and it's the same with the human body. I don't know if I would say I cycle my protein, because I get so much protein in plant. I think that people, when they are looking for craft's sake, says that makes so much sense. when people are looking, and there was a comment that was back here about cottage cheese. I'm going to roll back and see if I can find the person who asked that. When you're looking at protein and you're looking to add protein in your diet, you got to start with whatever you're consuming, because everything that we consume has protein in it. It's just a matter of like, how much are you consuming? So if I'm having chickpeas or I'm having a handful of raw nuts, it's not that I would consider myself on a low protein diet. But based on what is out there right now, and this 1 to 2 grams of protein per pound of body weight, I am on a very low protein diet, because I'm on approximately 0.35 grams of protein per body weight. I'm probably at about 30 to 50 grams of protein a day. I have muscle mass. I work out in the gym. I have a lot of energy. And my protein in terms of meat sources, and this kind of gets into your cycling part, I don't eat meat until night. My body is filled with vegetables and a bunch of fiber. And if I have something that's meat, like an actual piece of meat, not protein from chickpeas or, just nuts and seeds or anything like that, but actual flesh of a meat, it's only really at night, because I want to make sure I'm crowding out with the fiber and the polyphenol rich diet prior to me ingesting any sort of meat. When you do your kind of cycling, doctor, are you doing that on different days, different months? Are you going like a week of high protein and then fasting? How are you doing it?
I have to say something which I think is very, very important. I do believe in cycling of different tools, but the number one, I believe, is we are all different. So yeah. I'm really a big believer into personalized approach. We are all different. Yeah. Somebody can be vegan and in the brilliant health, and it's suitable for this person. Somebody else needs more animal protein, and it's fine. We all different. That's why some basics are good for everybody, but when you want optimal, you need to base this on the different tests, like genetic testing, your single nucleotide polymorphism SNPs. We all have those little different mutations, like wrong letters in the DNA code. They are called single nucleotide polymorphism. You can have the genetic testing, and I did mine, and it's really changed a lot in my personalized sort of like lifestyle, because it turns out that I need more omega-3. So for me, yeah, that
and
I need more.
That out through genetic testing.
Yes, so that's a genetic testing, and they will give you even advice, medical advice based on your genetic result. So this is really, really important to know. Like my test result came with this suggestion that I should not over-exercise, that I need a little bit more rest between. And it's true, because I found out if I do too many days of exercise, I feel tired, I can't sleep, probably too high cortisol, those stress hormones.
It's causing your cortisol levels to raise. Wow.
But however, saying about omega-3, we all need supplement in omega-3. It's so important to have an appropriate level of omega-3.
And you guys all know that I have my CardioMax. I'm not going to go over there, but it's in my. I set my daughter up with like all of my supplements. If you are not getting enough omega-3s in your diet, I do have a supplement called CardioMax, which is a very, very pure, very potent fish oil. And so you can comment when I post this to my main feed, which I'm going to do in about 20 minutes when we're off here. Well, depending on how the conversation goes. You can just comment the word supplements and then check your DMs. You'll get a link, and you can use code, I think you can use code LIVE20, and it'll give you 20% off of everything in your cart. So just comment the word supplements when I post this to my main feed. I want to talk about that kind of individuality that you were talking about as well, because when I post this, I want to see if I can invite you as a collaborator, because I would love for you to field some of these questions on individuality, on the type of testing that we can go through to see what are we actually lacking. I love having doctors on here that can give us that. And I don't know if the testing that would be done in the UK is different than the testing here in the US. I don't know.
I don't know what that difference is, but there is a do not age company, and I definitely I'm sure that they are on American market as well, and they do this test. I can post on my Instagram if you want to.
Or when we post this, I'll invite you as a collaborator. Just put, because I just got another question from, let's see, who is that? Sorry, it just keeps moving. We got a question that says, what was the name of that test? I couldn't hear it. So I want to make sure that we have, okay, so Tasha,
I will put
said, what
the
was that test?
details of the test on my Instagram.
Yeah, perfect. And then when I post this, it will go to your Instagram too, if you accept the collaborator, and you can just answer any questions there. Okay, so tell me a little, is there anything else you want to talk about? Because I want to talk about how you came up with the soups and where we can get those.
So, because I had a lot of questions about fasting mimicking diet, so I decided to do the ebook, and I published this ebook in the beginning of August. It's called Younger in 5 Days Polyphenol Fasting Mimicking Diet. So it's my version of Professor Walter Longo.
Yeah.
And what are the benefits? So short fast is, you can compare to the like a facial rejuvenation using very gentle peel, so you can rejuvenate very gently. So those short fasts are like a very gentle facial peel. And if you want to do a prolonged fast, like Professor Longo is advising, at least 4 or 5 days, so it's like a very deep chemical peel. It's uncomfortable, painful. Yeah. And then like the healing time after, the deep peel, facial peel, but the results are more profound, yes? Mm. So if you've got something for your face which is really like a deep peel, you need to heal for a couple of days, and the results are profound. So this is how short fast can be compared with the prolonged fast. Yeah. Prolonged fast goes really deeply into anti-aging, because we're talking about stem cells. Mm-hmm. That this is a very, very interesting thing to remember, that we have in our body, we have something which are called adult stem cells. So we have them in the skin, in the liver, in the bone marrow, and those cells are ready to repair us, to heal us. They are undifferentiated, and they can become any cell in our body. They can become a cell of the skin, they can become cell of the liver. So they are ready for action to rejuvenate us. Yeah. So those are adult stem cells, which we have in our bodies. So we already, so our bodies have the power to really, so body have the power of healing and rejuvenation, to activate those stem cells, to rejuvenate stem cells. We need to use those very deep mechanisms, like a prolonged fast, which could be done like 3 times a year. Yeah. So short fast is fine, it's good, but it's like a very gentle peel. So every day I'm having a very gentle peel. If you want a laser treatment, you need to go into prolonged fast. Yeah, I want to say all about stem cells. It's all about stem cells. I usually do that 5-day fast mimicking diet. I want to say once or twice a year. There was a time where I was doing it twice a year.
and I do intermittent fasting, my 16-hour fast every single day, but then a couple times a year, and it's usually right before Thanksgiving. So we're gearing up for me to do that. I'd love to try yours. I'd love to try your option instead of me doing Walter Longo's option of the Prolon fast. When I do my fast I usually do it right after Thanksgiving. I mean, not right after Thanksgiving, right after Halloween. We have all that Halloween candy, and I'm not one that deprives myself. I eat really, really smartly, and I eat really great, but I don't deprive myself because I'll never stick to it if I deny myself anything. So do I eat a piece of pie during the holidays? Absolutely, sometimes too. Do I have dessert? Absolutely. I love dessert, but I make sure that I'm crowding out that with all of the good stuff. But when I normally do my fast is right after Halloween, right before Thanksgiving. So it's right before we start gorging is when I do my fast. I would really love to do yours and to be able to tell people how that is different than Dr. Walter Longo's.
So I tried this twice. So in the beginning of July, in August, and I'm going to do another one 21st of October. So anybody who wants to join me, I can guide through those difficult 5 days. It doesn't need to be 5 days, even 2-3 days.
Yeah.
It's better.
Mm-hmm.
So,
3 days. There's a time where I don't remember what I was doing, but I was heavy into lifting weights because I cycle my exercise. Sometimes I'll be like, I'm doing yoga every day for like a month and lifting weights just a little bit. And I'll cycle that a little bit because you're tricking your body, just like with food, right? You trick your body with movement. But I would really love to do that 5-day with you. One of the times when I was heavy into weightlifting, I only lasted 3 days. And I thought my body was telling me that 3 days was enough. And then another time when I did it, 5 days was like, once I got over that 3-day hump, it was a breeze. And I felt so good. Like my body just felt like it was like it had a tune up. It was like a car that had a tune up. It was just, everything was working so much better. My digestion, I would eat stuff afterwards, no bloat, nothing. It was just like a well-oiled machine. Is that what you're talking about?
What I can say that obviously this 5 days fasting, it is hard, so it's good to have people who are doing this with you. However, next week I will publish a new ebook, and it's going to be about 24-hour fast, and this can be done once a week. 24 hours gives you new stem cells in the gut lining. So this number 24, it's important. So 24-hour fast, and I have in the ebook 2 protocols, because what's important, what you eat before and after 24-hour fast, plus supplements. So this new ebook is going to be published next week. So if anybody interested, I think it's going to be really, really helpful, because it's short and sweet and really good benefits, really good benefits. Everything is explained in the ebook, including the meal plans and 2 different protocols. One protocol is to reduce inflammation and ketones, and the other plan is towards autophagy and stem cells. So
amazing. Okay, so when we post this to the feed, I'll add you as a collaborator. Please tell us a little bit more about how we'd be able to join that or get that ebook. And you can do that when we post this on the main feed, or you can tell everybody right now, how would they be able to get a hold of that?
It will be published on Amazon Kindle the same way as my first ebook, Younger in 5 Days, and now this would be titled Younger in 1 Day.
And it seems like such a, listen, and I don't mean this in the wrong way, so pardon me, but it seems like such a ludicrous concept, younger in 1 day, but when you look at the biology of the body, it really is functioning in a younger, a more youthful way in 1 day of fasting. That is the power of food and the power of the lack of food and what your body does with that. Just fascinating. Is there anything else that you want to add? I think this has been so much information. There was a question. I'm going to scroll back. If there's anything you want to add, I'm going to scroll back and see if there was any questions that we want to, that I want to get to. There was something about spirulina. What is your thoughts on spirulina? I can tell you what my thoughts are, but have you been taking this supplement at all,
No,
doctor?
I don't know much about spirulina. Do you?
Yeah, it helps with it. When I post this, you guys, if you're interested in Primadine, which, oh no, I'm sorry, never mind. I was thinking of a different supplement. I used to take that and I don't take that anymore. That is, I believe, something that I took a couple of years ago. I'm going to have to, let me do a little bit more research on that. I thought you were talking about Primadine. I kind of just, spermidine. I read that wrong. So I thought you were talking about spermidine, which helps with autophagy. Spirulina is something very different. Charlotte said, if you're eating no food, what do you, that's a great question. I was going to ask that too, Charlotte. Charlotte Tilsbury Market, Specia, said, if you're eating no food, what are you drinking during the fast?
So fasting mimicking diet is about eating food, but still your body thinks you're fasting. So this is the main thing about fasting mimicking diet. So you're allowed to eat, but only low protein, low calorie food. So many vegetables, olives, nuts.
So doctor, is that even
however, the new ebook about 24-hour fast, you can drink obviously water, black coffee, green tea, any herbal tea. So 24-hour fast is real fast. Nothing else. It's just what you eat before 24-hour fast and after makes a difference, because this can strengthen the benefits of 24-hour fast.
So what do you eat before? What do you eat before this 24-hour fast? I've never done a 24-hour fast. I've come close, but I've never done a true 24-hour fast without any food at all. I've done a lot of the fast mimicking stuff, but what do you eat before you're about to deprive yourself for 24 hours?
This is I can't reveal everything because I have not published this ebook yet. There are two fantastic protocols for the meals before and after, but during the 24-hour fast, you are allowed only herbal tea, green tea, black coffee, and water. A little bit apple cider vinegar is allowed, because there is a lot of benefit from apple cider vinegar because it's fermented and it's good for our gut health. So this is what allowed during 24-hour fast. So that's a real fast 24 hours.
Apple cider vinegar is also really great for metabolizing sugars and fats and that kind of stuff. It's really great for your whole metabolic system. There was a question about nuts. Ridhima_B Seth says, what all nuts can be taken during fasting that don't break a fast?
So fasting mimicking diet, so it means that we are limited in calories, limited in carbs. So the day one, it's 1,100 calories. So 500 calories come from the healthy fat, like olive oil, olives, and nuts, but it's limited amount of calories. And other 500 calories, they come from vegetables. So
what are nuts that are involved in your fast?
I recommend walnuts. They are very healthy and detoxify your liver. Walnuts are fantastic, very healthy.
I have on my countertop, and I've shown this, I'm in my daughter's apartment right now in Northern California, but on my countertop in my kitchen, I've got a round, almost like one of those things that has a divider with like a center thing. I think it was probably meant for like some sort of vegetable dip or something. And in each section, I have a different kind of nut. I have pistachios and cashews and raw walnuts and almonds and sunflower seeds, pumpkin seeds. Like, it's just always changing, but the staples are always raw almonds, walnuts, pistachios. Those three, I probably consume those three types of nuts every single day. I want to say
it's good to remember that Brazil nuts, they contain selenium.
Yeah.
So
great.
1 or 2 per day, great for you. Yeah.
And they're very meaty, but I wouldn't consider it, like, when I'm doing my intermittent fasting, which is different than what Dr. Joanna is talking about here. But when I'm doing that, like we said, that little facial every day, right? That's just good for longevity. Might not be like a deep chemical peel or microneedling, but it's something that I do daily, getting that little kind of intermittent fasting. When I do that, I don't have any sort of calories. So when you're talking about what nut would be considered you could have that wouldn't break your fast, I would consider any nut that I consumed prior to that 16-hour window breaking my fast. And speaking of autophagy, before we get off of here, remember that picking apart of all those damaged cells and getting rid of those senescent cells, those zombie cells, and really kind of fine-tuning your machine. The way that I break my fast, because we were talking about what you eat before and what you eat after, and we're going to know what you eat before and what you eat after when your one day younger comes out, or younger in 1 day comes out. We'll get all your secrets then. But I always break my fast with a mushroom coffee, because in my brain, I'm thinking, well, I just got rid of some zombie cells and senescent cells and got rid of that. So why not then feed my brain something super, super healthy? So I'm anxious to see how you break your fast after 24 hours. And we're going to find all of that out in how many days, Dr. Joanna? When is that getting published?
So it's in the end of the next week, I hope, because it takes a little bit time when I download the ebook on the Amazon Kindle. The review takes sometime 48 hours. So we'll see how long.
Well,
but
I want to thank you so much for being here. This has been so interesting in terms of like anti-cancer, polyphenol, fast mimicking diet, a full fast. Like, there's just been so much information, and I appreciate you being here and taking the time all the way from the UK to jump on a 1-hour conversation with me. So that
I really enjoyed this. Thank you so much.
Thank you too. I'm going to post this to my main feed, you guys. So comment away, please. If you have learned anything from this live, please give it a heart when we post it. Please ask your comments there, because Dr. Joanna is, give it a little bit of love. Share it to some friends who are on the fence about fasting, or want to know some more information, or maybe even want to join the fast prior to the holidays. Share this with other people as well. And Dr. Joanna, I'm going to invite you as a collaborator. So any questions that anybody has, please keep them coming in the comment section when I post it. And between the two of us, we'll get them answered. Thank you so much. Okay, everybody, for those of you who are normally here for me on every Saturday and Sunday, I will not be doing a live show on tomorrow, because I will be driving all the way back to Los Angeles. But I will see you next Saturday with another special guest. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye, everybody. Have a great rest of your Saturday. Bye, Dr.